Right, welcome to a brand new one. Now, I'm pretty excited to get started with this one because as you start working on infrastructure as a code, and it has happened personally with me, my infrastructure, my pipeline has grown really big. I've worked on pipeline like thousands of lines of code, and pipeline gets really big, and it's really gets difficult to debug that pipeline or add a new stage or a new job to the pipeline. And it's a very classic example that how to optimize. Why do we need to optimize your pipeline? In this session, I'm going to show you how you could optimize your pipeline with few of the cool features of GitLab. So let's get started. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to showcase you how you could use and something called as include local template in GitLab. So what you could do is the reusable code you have got in your pipeline, which could be reused again and again, and you've been calling it, you've been defining them again and again in your pipeline, making your pipeline bigger. So we're going to pick that chunk which is reusable, put that in your different folder file, and then start calling it over there. So what we have done is we have picked up few stages, put it into a file, and that file is being called again and again. So we are kind of including a nested feature over here, but in GitLab we call as include. So there are multiple ways to include things. First is local, that's what we're going to do in this one. The second one is template. We have that full-fledged section on how to use template, and then you could use and include to include something outside your project, something from other GitHub repository or any other which is beyond your project. So it's not limited to only your local templates or GitLab by default templates. You could call an outside public repository as well and use it. So this is really important when it comes to, this is one of my personal favorite because this is really important when it comes to optimizing your pipeline, making your pipeline. I literally reduce the pipeline in this example from 100 to 20 lines, and remember you could do the same from 1000 to 200 lines, and there's no limit to optimization in pipeline. This is just to give you a basic fundamental how you could do in your actual environment. It's going to be super helpful. All right, I hope this is going to be super fun for you. I'll see you in the demo. All right, welcome back. In the last one we learned how to convert your jobs or stage into a shell script and then calling that shell script to make it a little more optimized and cleaner. Now what's happening is, if you look at over here, my pipeline has grown really big and it becomes really bigger with day by day. With more developments, gets really difficult. So what are we gonna do is we're gonna learn how to optimize your pipeline. We're gonna learn what is the use of include functionality in GitLab. Let's get started. So what I'm gonna do is we're gonna create child. Okay, let's say pipeline. Okay, pipelines. Let's say just call pipelines. So what I'm gonna say, I'm gonna create a new file. I'm gonna say build GitLab ci.yaml. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna add it and I'm gonna open the terminal right over here. Okay, super interesting. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just tag and push to GitLab. Okay, this is pushing to GitLab, right? So I'm just gonna copy this one. Okay, and these are both GitLab pipeline, right? So I'm just gonna copy, cut this one, put it right over here. Okay, so we're gonna mention the stage, which is build image, and then we gonna provide the stage and variable name also. All right, the stage is push build image, which is part of the build. So it's gonna be stage. So what we're saying is run it is a part of this stage. Okay, stages is gonna be build. Okay, these two are part of build and then push both. So we say build and push. Perfect. So this is part of the build, this is part of the push. Perfect. And then are there any variables needed? These two variables are needed, so I'm just going to copy from here. Okay, how do you include it? You kind of say include, all right, and start defining the template. But before that, I'm gonna copy the other stage also, which I'm gonna say, what do you say? We say build stage, all right, dot YAML. Perfect. Now what we're gonna say is
we are gonna copy another stage, which is this one. Okay, we're gonna just copy this one. In fact, I'm gonna paste it right over here because these two are part of push. One is push and then this one is also a push. This one I'm gonna just copy right from here. Okay, copy, and I'm gonna paste it into the build folder. Alright, and then I'm gonna set the stage, which is stage build, and this is part of the push stage. Perfect. Looks good to me. We've got the stage defined, we've got the variables defined. Just gonna go through them again one by one. So this says build GitLab CI. So we've got a username, password, we've got the build stage. Just gonna remove the build stage right from here. We just need the push stage. So what does push stage says? We say push and first do a docker login, docker tag, and docker push. Same to docker have as well, docker login, docker tag, and yeah. And then on the next one, it just builds, then do a docker login, docker build, docker save. Perfect. That's pretty much all. How do we call these two pipeline, YAML pipeline, in your main pipeline over here? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna say docker build, push and deploy ECR, gonna keep remain same. I'm gonna say include what? Include from my local, from this particular repository, which is local. I say into the pipelines, slash build stage.yaml. Perfect. And then again I say local, okay, and I say pipelines slash build GitLab -c. What it's gonna do, what it is gonna do is it's gonna just import both of these YAML over here. All right, looks good to me. I think everything looks good to me. Include local, and we've got all the, and over here I'm just keeping this as same. I want this to be included as a part of my uh, main YAML because this is actually already smaller. We've kept it smaller by calling the shell script, so it's already small. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna, okay, there's a typo over here, replace with pipelines. Perfect. I just hope over here also it's just correct with a colon. All right, let's, I hope you it completely made sense. What we did, we picked up all our build stages, put it over here. Okay, push, and then the stage was build, and we've included right over here. What I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna do a commit and send it to my YAML. I'm gonna say using include functionality of GitLab. Alright, let's just hit on commit and push. This is done. Let's go back to our pipeline. Let's go to the pipeline. Let's see if there are any logs of getting started. Alright, the pipeline has been started, and as you can see, all of the three stages which we expected are actually getting picked up by our YAML pipeline, and we have actually shortened our pipeline from 85 lines to half of it, 48 lines, and this is all comment any which way. So this is how you could just include local. There are other functionality, other features of local as well. You could pull GitHub or GitLab repo as well. There's bunch of templates available outside your repo. You could pull in that as well. You could pull in an external file as well. There's a lot of goodness included with include. I hope this was informative. This is really important when it comes to optimizing your pipeline, and I'll just hope you'll take the learnings from include and put it into your project as well to make it more shorter and more optimized. Always good to read smaller pipelines, and then anybody can just go to these smaller pipelines, child pipelines, and then just see what's happening over there. I've used them a lot to optimize, shorten my pipelines. I hope this was super informative. Thank you, and I'll see you in a bit.